Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Ashtotara Shata Shishimad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON BBT Samstapaka Acharya. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jaya mudiraye nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. So this morning we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 7, in the matter of further inquiries by Vidura, text 19. It's from outside or from inside? It's from outside or from inside? Yat-sevayā bhagavataḥ kūṭa-sthasya madhu-dviṣaḥ rati-rāso bhavet tīvraḥ pādayor vyasanārdanaḥ yat-sevayā bhagavataḥ kūṭa-sthasya madhu-dviṣaḥ rati-rāso bhavet tīvraḥ pādayor vyasanārdanaḥ yat-sevayā bhagavataḥ kūṭa-sthasya madhu-dviṣaḥ rati-rāso bhavet tīvraḥ pādayor vyasanārdanaḥ yat-sevayā bhagavataḥ kūṭa-sthasya madhu-dviṣaḥ rati-rāso bhavet tīvraḥ pādayor vyasanārdanaḥ yat-sevayā bhagavataḥ kūṭa-sthasya madhu-dviṣaḥ rati-rāso bhavet tīvraḥ pādayor vyasanārdanaḥ. Yat, to whom? Sevaya, by service. Bhagavataḥ, of the personality of Godhead. Kūṭa-sthasya, of the unchangeable. Madhu-dviṣaḥ, the enemy of the madhu asura. Rati-rāsaḥ, attachment in different relationships. Bhavet, develops. Tīvraḥ, highly ecstatic. Pādayor, of the feet. Vyasana, distresses. Ardanaḥ, vanquishing. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. By serving the feet of the spiritual master, one is enabled to develop transcendental ecstasy in the service of the personality of Godhead, who is the unchangeable enemy of the madhu demon and whose service vanquishes one's material distresses. Purport. The association of a bona fide spiritual master, like the sage Maitreya, can be of absolute help in achieving transcendental attachment for the direct service of the Lord. The Lord is the enemy of the madhu demon, or in other words, He is the enemy of the sufferings of His pure devotee. The word rati-rāsaḥ is significant in this verse. Service to the Lord is rendered in different transcendental mellows, relationships: neutral, active, friendly, parental, and nuptial. A living entity in the liberated position of transcendental service to the Lord becomes attracted to one of the above mentioned mellows, and when one is engaged in transcendental loving service to the Lord, one's attachment in the material world is automatically vanquished. As stated in Bhagavad-gītā, chapter 2, text 59, rasa-varjaṁ rasopi yasya param drishtva nivartate. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport to Canto 7, Chapter 7, Canto 3, Chapter 7 in the matter of further inquiries by Vidura, text 19. Om ajnana timirandasya gyananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave namaha Shri Caitanya manobishtam stapitam yena bhutale swayam rupa kadamahyam dadati swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tamsa Jivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swaminiti Namine Nama Acharya Padaya Nithaikripa Pradayine Gaurakatha Damadaya Nagaragramatarine Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Gopi Paranadana Dasa Iti Namine Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshutarine Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patithanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam phangum langayate girim yatkripatamaham bande Shri Guruntarinam yatkripatamaham bande Paramananda Madhavam Sri Caitanya Ishwaram Kathanchana smrite yasmin dushkaram sukaram bhavet smrite viparitam syat Sri Caitanyam namamitam. So we'll continue from where we left off yesterday and move into this verse. But even before that, if we notice, text 17 speaks about both the lowest of fools and he who is transcendental to all intelligence enjoy happiness, whereas persons between them suffer the material pangs. Then we have, but my dear sir, I am obliged to you, this text 18, yesterday's, because now I can understand that this material manifestation is without substance, although it appears real. I am confident that by serving your feet, it will be possible for me to give up the false idea. Then it speaks, then we come to today's verse. What happens, which speaks of what happens. So we have the situation of the lowest of the fools, and those are transcendental to everything. And then people in between them suffer the material pangs. And the next verse speaks about how one can understand this whole situation by serving the lotus feet of a Mahabhagavata, a pure devotee of the Lord. So it will be possible for me to give up the false idea. So by serving. And this verse speaks about how it happens by serving. So we have presented a situation in text 17 and text 18, how to get out of that situation and what exactly happens in getting out of the situation. How do we actually get out? Okay, getting out, the solution is presented that by serving the feet of a Mahabhagavata. What happens when we serve the feet of a Mahabhagavata? Explained today. So I'll read the translation again. By serving the feet of the spiritual master, one is enabled to develop transcendental ecstasy in the service of the personality of Godhead, who is the unchangeable enemy of the Madhu demon and whose service vanquishes one's material distresses. So, first of all, we had this discussion over the last 2 days about the nature of this material world, and our understanding, which is the factual understanding, because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted this understanding, and Lord Chaitanya is God, is material nature is permanent. Material nature exists, first of all. Material nature exists and its existence is permanent, eternal. Now, material manifestations, which means material nature means there are no forms, just matter. Matter exists and matter exists eternally. Then there are forms of matter. This building is a form of matter. Our bodies are forms of matter. Whatever you see is generally forms of matter. Of course, you could say that dust is not what is there in the dust? There's no form. Okay. But generally, we deal with forms of matter. The forms of matter also exist, but the existence is temporary. Now we, the spirit souls, are not matter. We, the spirit souls, are not matter. But we falsely identify with a form of matter. For example, this is obvious to everybody, we identify with the form of matter called as body. So it's a false identification, because we are not the body, we are the spirit soul. So when we falsely identify with something, whatever happens in connection with that has to be false, isn't it? Logically. We are falsely identifying with something. So whatever happens in connection to that has to be false. So there is false happiness and there is false distress. But at the same time, when it says false, false does not mean it does not exist. Mayavadis say the material world, material nature does not exist. Forms of matter does not exist. But we don't say that. We say material nature exists, forms of nature also exist. Material nature is permanent, forms of matter are temporarily. So when we say false happiness, we are not saying that the happiness does not exist at all. When we say false happiness, we are saying we are deriving happiness through false identification. Because it is false identification, it is false happiness. Because it's false identification, it is false distress. Therefore, another term is used. Instead of saying false happiness and false distress, the term called superficial is used. Superficial is used. What does superficial mean? Like I often give the example, if you see a pamphlet with a very nice thali on it. I'm not talking prasadam, I mean whatever, some thali on it. Food stuff on it. Very exotic food stuff. If you like the food stuff, if we like the food stuff, when we look at that pamphlet, there is a certain feeling that is induced in us. Because we are identifying, oh, there is food here. So the tongue drools if we see that a food that we like is on that pamphlet. But if we don't like a food which is on the pamphlet, the same pamphlet food which will create a dislike. Now this liking and disliking, is it real? It is not real. At the same time, is it real in the sense that is it substantial? No. It is superficial because it is paper. There is no food there. There is no food at all. There is just paper. But looking at the paper, we are deriving some happiness or disgust or distress. What is this? Because there is nothing substantial there. It is superficial. So, are those feelings of pleasure or disgust when we look at that paper significant? No, it's not really significant. It's superficial. But nevertheless, we experience it. Okay. So, this is our understanding of Krishna consciousness. That all pleasures that are derived through false identification are superficial, not substantial. Substantial means you're actually eating the food which you like and you're feeling happiness. That is called substantial. And you're actually feeling disgust by eating a food which you don't like. That is called substantial. But superficial means looking at the picture you're feeling something. So that is called superficial. So now we see in text 17 it is explained that the fool is very happy. Why is the fool very happy? The fool is thinking that this identification is everything. So he doesn't have to think about I am not the body, I am not this, nothing. Just identify and be happy, or whatever distress comes out of it, let it be there. So that person is not disturbed. I mean, he's going on with life. Then you have another category of people who know that this is superficial. They know that we are not the body and they're fully absorbed in transcendence. So they are also happy there because they're going on with life. The fool is also going on with life. The problems are encountered by those of us who are trying to get out of this false identification but who are not yet there. So we encounter this difficulty. And first of all, that information has to come from somebody, from a Mahabhagavata or from the scripture. The Mahabhagavata presents the scripture. Your book Bhagavatam and you have the person Bhagavatam. So, the Mahabhagavata, for us, our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada explains, look, you are not the body. Krishna is saying, he has given the purport, Prabhupada is giving the purports, he is giving very nice information. This is not it, this is not. You are not the body. So this is verse, yesterday's verse, where how can you get out of that thing? By listening to the Mahabhagavata or listening to Srila Prabhupada and his followers, for us, ISKCON members. So, you get the information, okay. But, is that enough? We all know that we are not the body. No means we all have heard. We read. So many times we've read, not the body. But are we out of the body? No. So what is happening actually? What is happening? We are not situated in that position. Why we are not situated in that position? So, Prabhupada explains that Maya has two potencies. Avarnatmika and Prashekatmika. Now this Avarnatmika potency is the covering potency. And Prashekatmika potency is the throwing potency. We are first of all thrown into this material world. Like Indra, when he had to become a pig, so he was thrown from the heavenly planets into the situation. But after some time what happened? So that is the Prashekatmika potency, throwing into a situation. Now Avarnatmika potency, what did it do? Oh, this life is very nice. Life of a pig. So later on when it was time for him to go back to heaven, he said, no, I have got my wife and I have got my piglets and no, I am not interested in going back. That is called the Avarnatmika potency. So this Avarnatmika potency covers real knowledge. This is the function of the Avarnatmika potency. Prashekatmika potency throws and Avarnatmika potency covers. So when we are covered, we don't know what is what. So the spiritual master comes, Om Ajnana Timirandasya. We are covered fully. Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Now we'll see, okay, this is a very nice verse. But the 4 shlok stanzas that we sing during Guru Puja is Narottam Das Thakur's explanation of Om Ajnana Timirandasya. That is what we are doing actually. Every day morning, we are singing Narottam Das Thakur's explanation of what is Om Ajnana Timirandasya. Okay. So, the knowledge is provided by the spiritual master. So then, even though the knowledge is provided, why we are not situated in that platform? So we are not fully free from the Avarnatmika potency. We are still being covered. We know. That's called theoretical knowledge. Okay. Now, this verse that we are dealing with today explains a secret how to actually get out of this Avarnatmika potency. Just by reading Prabhupada's books is not enough. You will have information. Yes. But we have to act on that information. When we act on that information, Srila Prabhupada is pleased. When he is pleased, the Avarnatmika potency lifts. That is what happens. So, what is that process? Basically, it is, as explained here, we experience, one is enabled to develop transcendental ecstasy. So, the enabling to develop transcendental ecstasy, this is the result of serving the instructions of a Mahabhagavata. When we serve the instructions of a Mahabhagavata, then we get enabled to develop transcendental ecstasy. as Prabhupada concludes with the purport, in today's purport, param drishtva. So, this aspect of trying to carry out the instructions of Srila Prabhupada and trying to please him is the essence of how we progress in devotional service. Therefore, the very first prayer that we sing in the morning are the samsara prayers, which are specifically instituted by Srila Prabhupada for ISKCON. This is ISKCON's unique prayer. It's not that other Gaudiya must sing this prayer. This prayer was instituted by Srila Prabhupada to drive home the point. This is the essence of all practice. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. Yasya prasadhan na gati kutopi dhyayan stuvam stasya yashastri sandhyam vande guru shri charanaravindam. So when we follow the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, we please him. And this is how we get enabled to trace transcendental ecstasy. When we taste transcendental ecstasy, then we are no longer on the theoretical platform. This is mundane pleasure and mundane distress. We are actually situated on that platform. So, many examples are given. In the Bhagavatam itself, Narada Muni speaks to Vyasadeva and says that only the topics of pure devotional service are meant for the devotees, the Paramahamsas. They are like swans. They are always found in very beautiful places. But whereas crow is in the garbage. We may hear this so many times. Okay, all this mundane talk, mundane whatever is all garbage. But do we feel disgust? Do we look at it as garbage? No. Why? Because of the fact that we are covered with the avarnatmika potency of the Lord, of Maya, which is ultimately a potency of the Lord. So, therefore, by serving the feet of the spiritual master, as I explained here, following his instructions and by pleasing, it is not enough. Okay, Prabhupada has said chant 16 rounds, follow the 4 regulative principles. That's all. I will chant. Somehow I should finish 16 rounds. Somehow I will avoid the 4 regulative principles. No, that's not what it is. Prabhupada said, chant 16 rounds offenselessly. To chant 16 rounds offenselessly, it is impossible to do it without Bhagavat Vidya. Because every element of the offense, all the 10 offenses, without Bhagavat Vidya, we are definitely going to commit it. First offense is to blaspheme the devotees who dedicated their life to serve the holy name of the Lord. How will we know what is the danger of that offense if we don't have Bhagavat Vidya? We will not know. Similarly, how will we know that the demigods are not equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Without Bhagavad Gītā, they will not know. How will we know that we should not disobey the instructions of the spiritual master? Without Bhagavad Gītā, they will not know. So, all the 10 offenses involve Bhagavad Vidya. So, through Bhagavad Vidya, we try to avoid the offenses. So, when Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur emphasized the books, Srila Prabhupada emphasized the books, he is not emphasizing they are not just emphasizing some information. They are emphasizing Bhagavad Vidya and the practice of Bhagavad Vidya. This is what they are emphasizing. So, it has to be done in that mood. I have to carry out the instructions that Srila Prabhupada is presented so that I please him. I please him. Their attitude. First of all, accepting whatever is said and then trying to follow that. And what has he said? What has Prabhupada said actually? He says that the members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness are known as Sarasvatas. Sarasvatas means the followers of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. And in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, he explains what the Sarasvata means. He gives a twofold definition. The definition has two components to it. He says that a Sarasvata is one who spreads the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and, now the second part is also important, who fights against, who defeats all kinds of opposing understandings, atheism, the scientific, atheistic scientific theories, all these things. So, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would say that one who has life preaches. So, if we have to develop transcendental ecstasy in the service of the personality of Godhead, then we should constantly think how we shall follow the teachings that has been given to us, this Bhagavad Vidya. How shall we follow the teachings, and how shall we give out the teachings? Because giving out the teachings, Prabhupada said, cannot happen if you are not following. First of all follow, then give out. And our definition begins with giving out actually of a Sarasvata. It begins with giving out. So we should be conscious of that. Our very definition is not that, okay, we practice Krishna consciousness and somehow go back to Godhead. Our very definition begins with spreading the Krishna consciousness movement. So we have to practice Krishna consciousness, give out Krishna consciousness, and try to defeat all the opposing understandings, that anything opposed to Rupanuga Viruddha Apasiddhanta Dvantaharine. This is a Sarasvata. So, this is our business, to spread the Krishna consciousness movement and to defeat all opposing understandings. Then we experience transcendental ecstasy. So when we experience transcendental ecstasy, then when we look at the material world, it looks, first of all, it will start looking insignificant, because disgusting is a very high stage. First of all, it will start looking insignificant, then one will come to the platform of it's disgusting. So, but it all starts with, as Rupa Goswami in the Upadeshamrita instructs, this is the first book for neophyte devotees, as Prabhupada says. First of all, it begins with tolerating. Tolerating what? Words, mind and body. Tolerating the urges, the urges of the tongue. Because why it says body, mind, words? Because tongue has two functions. Eating and speaking. So speaking has to be controlled. Then you have mind. Mind can go in all directions. Mind has to be controlled. Then you have the other urges, the bodily urges. So that's how the first verse of the Upadeshamrita says. It says tolerate, because the urges are there. So the first stage is toleration. But when one progressively experiences this transcendental ecstasy, as mentioned in this verse, then one is able to, there's no question of toleration anymore. Then as it's explained about the Goswamis, Nidrahara Viharakadi Vijitau. They have conquered. No more toleration. Toleration is the very first step. So, and the highest is to come to the stage of conquering. So in the stage of coming from toleration to conquering, toleration, it may appear attractive. Material happiness appears attractive, but we have to tolerate it. As Prabhupada says, itching sensation. So it's trying to drag us, Maya is trying to drag us. Come on, itch. There's an itching sensation. The urges are like the itching sensation. Prabhupada says, tolerate it. Then as we tolerate it, we'll say, this is insignificant. What is this, some itching? Krishna consciousness is much more ecstatic. Then one comes to the stage of what is all this material happiness, disgusting. One comes to the stage of like the crows eating garbage. This is garbage. So no matter how much we may know all these things, when it comes to our lives, we will not be able to live it unless we follow the instructions. So when we follow the instructions, then we experience transcendental ecstasy. The very word Krishna consciousness is derived from Rupa Goswami. Prabhupada uses Rupa Goswami's expression Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Mati. That is where from Prabhupada takes this word Krishna consciousness. So if we look at that expression, Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Mati, Krishna Bhakti Rasa, and as Prabhupada explains in the Nectar of Devotion, Rasa means taste. So Krishna Bhakti Rasa, so when one experiences the rasa of Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita, Mati means consciousness, Bhavita means the consciousness which is saturated with Krishna Bhakti Rasa. This is Krishna consciousness. It's a very deep expression. So when our consciousness is saturated with Krishna Bhakti Rasa, that is called Krishna consciousness. So Krishna consciousness actually means to be saturated with that. And it is possible even for the neophyte devotees, when simply follows the program that Srila Prabhupada has given. So he showed it to us. He actually showed it to us by during his living presence. The kind of things that his followers did. Today, many of us think, oh, inconceivable. How did they do this? That is due to this Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Mati. The pure devotee's presence, not just the pure devotee's presence, but the willingness of the devotees to follow him. That is what put them on that elevated platform. As Prabhupada would tell his god brothers in India, who would sometimes criticize, okay, they don't know all the different things of Vedic things. Prabhupada said, yes, they may not know all these things. But whatever, they have one good quality. What is that? Whatever I say, they simply believe. So this is how the Krishna consciousness movement succeeded. Because of accepting the words of the Mahabhagavata and because of the desire to genuinely please him. Everybody wanted that, had that in their mind. How shall I please Srila Prabhupada? How shall I please him? How shall I please him? So this is all that the devotees were absorbed in during that time. Of course, you could say so many things went wrong. Okay, things did go wrong. I'm not saying no. But there was that emphasis, there was that focus on trying to please Srila Prabhupada and not trying to displease him. So this is the core of our practice, that we are trying to take the Bhagavad Vidya from Srila Prabhupada, trying to follow that in our lives and trying to give that to others. So without this combination of Bhagavad Vidya, trying to follow it, give it to others, and of course trying to defeat everything else, this flow of transcendental ecstasy will be impeded. And if the flow of transcendental ecstasy is impeded, then we don't have to wonder why we are still attracted to things which Prabhupada is dismissing it as insignificant or disgusting. We're still attracted. Why? We need to examine why. If the flow of transcendental ecstasy is intact, then we will progressively, we will observe that we will progressively become, as Prabhupada says, that is the test. Our Krishna Bhakti Rasa, Mati, will get, our consciousness will get more and more saturated with Krishna Bhakti Rasa, and will become more and more, will consider material pleasure more and more insignificant. So when we are seeing it, we are also on that platform. Like it's not just knowledge. Okay, Bhagavad Vidya is there. But only when we apply it, we come to that platform. And we can come to the platform only by pleasing, not just by reading. following and pleasing Prabhupada. Prabhupada should think, oh, he has done very nice. When that happens, then so we have to keep that transcendental ecstasy comes. So we have to keep that transcendental ecstasy flowing. And when that happens, then we are properly situated. So this is how it works. And I would like to end today on just a little bit of a humorous note about the avarnatmika potency. Prabhupada gives a very nice example. I think I lost it. Anyway, let me just look at, if the internet is working, I'll. Yeah, I got it. Thank you. Okay. So, this is from a lecture on the 30th of August 1973 in London on Bhagavad-gītā 2:28. Very humorous example. So, the situation of the world, due to ignorance of the soul, they are creating so many sinful activities and becoming entangled. But they have no knowledge how they are becoming entangled. This is Maya. Prakshepatmika Shakti, Avarnatmika. Although he is being entangled, but he is thinking that he is advancing in scientific knowledge. This is their knowledge. Then Prabhupada gives the example. The gentleman was talking that he is a mining engineer. So, mining engineer, his business is to make the atmosphere within the mine very comfortable. Just imagine, he has gone down within the earth just like the mouse hole and is improving the mouse hole. After being educated, after getting degrees, his position is to enter into the dark, I mean to say whole of the earth, and is trying to make scientific advancement by cleansing the air within the mine. He is condemned that he has been forced to give up the outer space, free air. He has been condemned to go within the earth and is proud of scientific advancement. This is going on. This is scientific advancement. So we see that Prabhupada, this is the vision. Om Ajnana-timirandasya. He sees the world as it is. So we can see how much we are advanced by seeing whether we are seeing the world in the same way that a Mahabhagavata sees. And we should naturally see it. Not, okay, we know this is also one form of seeing. Okay, Prabhupada is saying we are seeing through Prabhupada. Okay. But are we in that position? We are also, have we come to that stage of being situated in that position? That's very important. It's a test of Krishna consciousness. So if by being many years in Krishna consciousness, if we think these are all very prestigious, to go to a prestigious university is very prestigious, to become a mining engineer is very prestigious, to become this is prestigious, become that is prestigious, that means we are still under the influence of the avarnatmika potency. So see, Prabhupada is going to the root of the problem. Basically he is saying, look at this engineer. He is behaving like a mouse actually. So the degree has made him like a mouse and he is calling it advancement. Like Prabhupada is once asked about the cities, they have so many different things. So because this mouse thing came up, I remembered, Prabhupada is told there are subways in New York. So then Prabhupada said, mouse is also making subway under the ground. What is this advancement? Anyway, so I just wanted to end on that note that what is so glittering in this material world, that will remain glittering, Bhogaishvarya prashaktanam maya paharta chetasa. Bhogaishvarya prashaktanam. Bhoga and Aishwarya. It will remain glittering until we please a Mahabhagavata. The sign of pleasing a Mahabhagavata is our mati, consciousness, Krishna consciousness will increase there. I mean, the bhakti rasa will increase in our consciousness, and we will begin to see the world for what it is and be situated in that position. Not just theoretically, no. Be situated in that position. That is the effect of pleasing a Mahabhagavata. Okay, so I think I'll stop there if there are any comments or questions. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for this inspiring class. Actually. So in the in Sarasvatas, as you mentioned, the second aspect is that one who defeats all kinds of opposing elements. So many times, like when we, let us say, go out for book distribution, we meet many people who have these opposing ideas. So many times it is suggested that we should not waste time with them because it is unnecessary. And we see one pastime also of I think Rupa Goswami and Jiva Goswami, where Digvijay Pandit defeats. He gets it signed from Rupa Goswami, and then when Jiva Goswami defeats, so then Rupa Goswami asks him to go out. So, but at the same time, Srila Prabhupada is defeating many atheists and scientists. So, how to understand, like, where should we go and like?
Well, the understanding is that yes, we are not supposed to waste time, but when Prabhupada tried to defeat the scientists or anybody else for that matter, it is out due to his compassion for the living entities. If a wrong idea prevails, it is going to take people in a wrong direction, the blind leading the blind. So it is due to the compassion of the situation, they're going to be in danger. Prabhupada gave the example, like somebody is flying a kite on the roof. In India, people fly kites. But I don't know Bengal, but Gujarat is very famous for kite flying, especially on the 15th of January, I think. Lohri, something. So, kids fall off the roof and all that. So, why? Because they're so absorbed in the kite flying. So, Prabhupada would say that a Vaishnava is compassionate. A Vaishnava is shouting, hey, the shouting is not bad. You're trying to prevent him from falling down. If you don't shout, he's going to fall off. So of course, we don't shout at people, but the idea is that we are strong, not with the idea, I want to crush you. The idea is not to punch the fellow who's going to fall. That is not the idea. The idea is to save him. So that's why Prabhupada said, advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. If we try to do it with the idea of crushing them, then we are nonsense, as Prabhupada said. No, preaching does not mean irritating. Basically, we are supposed to exhibit that compassion. So, I don't know how to put it. Like say, when there is a kind act, okay, people reciprocate with the act of kindness. But when there is something we tell somebody a little strongly, they may feel a little bit shaken. But it also depends on how you are saying it. If you are saying it out of compassion, Krishna is also seated in that person's heart. He's a reality, just like we are all realities. We only think we are there, the book distributor is there, the person on the street is there. But there is another person actually, sitting in our heart, sitting in their heart. So there are three people in the transaction, not just two people. So the person sitting in your heart, Krishna sees, you're doing it genuinely, compassionately. Then sitting in his heart, he may tell him, look, this guy is not crazy. What he's saying makes some sense, So, it depends on Krishna how I can't divine Krishna's mind, but the idea is that Krishna helps the book distributors. If we do it with genuine compassion, Krishna helps the book distributors, definitely. But that does not mean the other person will buy. He may still have his free will. But Krishna is a very important factor in the success of book distribution. That we have to do it with that idea. So, even when we try to explain to somebody, we should try at least. But if he is adamant and not this thing, then we should move on. Trying is not bad. But If we get into the thing, okay, this person is so strong, look at how he's talking. He's telling I am a fool, what dhoti you are wearing, what kurta you are wearing. So then we are agitated. So we want to somehow or other defeat him. We don't know how to defeat him, so we use philosophy to try to defeat him. So all this is just our own mental problem. We have forgotten the idea that we are trying to make him Krishna conscious. We are not trying to defeat him. That's not the idea. So the things get messed up. So we have to be conscious of we are servants. As Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would say when he sent the sannyas preachers to the West, he said, please remember, all people of this world are superiors to us in own manner. We are not interested in that. We are willing to consider they are superior. Okay, you are wearing dhoti, okay, so what? I am wearing shirt pant, okay, you are superior, no problem. We are not interested in that. Then he says that we are merely triple shaft bhikshus. Bhikshus means the beggars. We are saying, please take to this process of Krishna consciousness. That should be our mood. We are begging people, please take it. We may have to say a little strongly to make the person take the book. But it is a form of begging only. Like I remember in 2023, 2023 in Jagannath Puri during Vaisheshika Prabhu's yatra. So Vaisheshika Prabhu distributes books. So he went to a beggar. So he told him, he gave him a book, everything. So beggar was thinking next is money. So then Vaisheshika Prabhu showed a card which says, give me donation. So the beggar was shocked. But because it was being done in the right manner, he gave his whole bowl of coins. Beggar who never is used to giving money, but even he could give. Why? So like that, the idea is to, out of compassion for the beggar, is being done. It is not to exploit him, so beggar could understand it. So like that, we have to do it with the right attitude. Even then people may not understand, people may still misunderstand. What can we do? At least we have done our part. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you for a deep insight, very deep class. Prabhu, what is meant by real consciousness? And how we can get to know with a full consciousness I'm trying to please my spiritual master and then I'm trying to please Prabhupada and to follow his instructions. How I can test myself that I'm doing really conscious.
So, see, Prabhupada said that we always have not just the Guru, we also have superior Vaishnavas. Superior Vaishnavas not just by designation, but actually by advancement. There are superior Vaishnavas. I mean, if we think nobody is superior to us, something is wrong with us. Definitely there are lots of people who are superior to us by advancement. Okay? So, when we perform an activity, Prabhupada created the International Society for Krishna Consciousness so that we can harmoniously work together. We need that association of devotees to feel inspired. Everybody is doing the same thing which Prabhupada wanted, right? Of course, theoretically easy as said, but is everybody doing? That's a different question. But at least that's the idea, that everybody comes together, but all of us are doing something in common. Mangalarti we are doing, we are coming to Bhagavatam class. There are several things which are happening. Each person may do it with a different motive, I don't know. That's between Krishna and the person. But the program that Prabhupada set up is going on. Although the attendance in Bhagavatam class has become very sparse, that's a very alarming thing, but the program has not collapsed. Okay, so first of all, you have to follow the program. This is called the general thing. Okay, everybody has to follow the general thing. They're called general instructions of Prabhupada. Then there are specific instructions. Specific instructions are what should I do? So first of all, if you do these things with a genuine attitude, Prabhupada will be pleased. But that's not the only thing that you need to do to please him. You also need to do, what are you going to do the rest of the day? Right? So we have to do something during the rest of the day. So somebody has to engage us. So whoever is engaging us, we should find out whether am I doing in a manner that you are pleased. Now I think I'm opening a Pandora's box. So then the question can come up, what if that person is unreasonable and all? Don't get into all that. The point is, you have to genuinely do with an idea of pleasing. Okay? I should do this service in a very nice manner. It has been designated to me. I should do in a manner that's very pleasing. So even if that person is not pleased, Prabhupada will be pleased. So the idea is to do it such that it is pleasing. You understand? So that is how we make progress. So we should do both the general activities and the specific activities. Then our progress will continue unimpeded.
Activity also, example like chanting or hearing.
Okay.
We think I am here in the class, I am hearing instructions of Prabhupada. But as you said, sometimes it may be for the namesake.
Namesake is better than no sake, no? so Prabhupada would say, just like, offensive chanting is better than no chanting. At least chant, so that, you can't chant offenselessly while committing offense. That's craziness. Offensive chanting you're trying to avoid the offenses and chanting. Still you're in the offensive stage because you're not cleared of the offenses. But that is better than no chanting, because you will come to the stage of offenseless chanting. So like that, at least do it for the sake of doing it. So we'll gradually come to that platform.
Thank you so much.
But doing is important. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so then we'll stop here. Thank you all very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanand.